Nancy Altman.
Thank you. And this very important summit has been focusing on racial wealth and income gap. And it's not surprising that these same disparities remain as people age. So some of the solutions for retirement are some of the same solutions for the disparities that occur younger in life. It's increase the minimum wage, more and better training, the employment opportunities at good paying jobs and so forth. Specifically with retirement security, the answer is actually a pretty simple one, and that is simply expand Social Security. The Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Census Bureau came out with a new improved poverty measure called the Supplemental Poverty Measure. And under that, it showed that those 65 and over 6 out of 10 African Americans are either already in poverty or one economic shock away. For Hispanics, it's about the same. It's 7 out of 10. For whites, it's lower. It's about 4 out of 10, but it's still too high. Increasing Social Security would help everyone. It is the nation's most effective anti-poverty program. Every year, it lifts about 20 million Americans, including 1 million children because of its disability and survivor protections. So about 20 million Americans out of poverty, and it lessens the poverty for millions and millions of others. It is, for all those who say government doesn't work, it is the most efficient, the most secure, the most universal, the most distributionally fair, and the most affordable source of retirement income. When all the baby boomers are retired around 2035, Social Security will spend less as a percentage of gross domestic product than Germany, France, Japan, virtually most other countries spend today. There is no question we can afford Social Security, the current program, and certainly a greatly expanded program. For all of the talk about intergenerational warfare, it's important to see that Social Security is an all generations program. It relieves pressure on families. It provides guaranteed income for younger family members when they're during this last recession, because there was a steady source of income for the older members. The largest children's program. It's the largest source of income for grandparents supporting grandchildren. And as Letitia was saying with respect to Latinos, it's particularly important to communities of color. And as well, it's particularly important to women. It's particularly important to the LGBT community. It's important to all of those groups that have been disadvantaged in the workforce, because it's got a very ingenious benefit formula that provides a proportionately larger rate of return if you've had a lot of unemployment, if you've been working at low wages, been discriminated against in other ways. So it's a system that really works, and it works for people of color. Now, we've talked about retirement, but it's particularly important, disproportionately important, are the disability insurance features of the survivor insurance benefits. Again, for obvious reasons, because the communities of color Hispanics and African Americans tend to be more often in jobs that are physically demanding, that are dangerous. They have less access to health care for a variety of reasons. Those are very important programs to them. Again, though, it's important to see the big picture, which is Social Security is vital to everyone. It constitutes the largest asset most Americans have. Now, most people don't think of it as an asset. I think that's partly because legally you can't sell it or you can't borrow against it the way you might be able to with other assets. But that inability to sell or borrow against is actually part of its value. Like the assets of trusts generally, creditors of Social Security beneficiaries, although there's some question now we could talk about with the federal government, but private creditors of beneficiaries can't get at Social Security the way they can seize assets not held in trust. Social Security benefits are always there when and if Americans need them, beyond the reach of creditors, swindlers, poor personal decisions. That's a value not just for communities of color, but for everyone. It's really three assets. As I said, it provides life insurance, disability insurance, and joint and survivor annuities. Social Security Administration has actually valued the different benefits. If you have a 30-year-old worker earning about $30,000, married with 2 young children, that worker has life insurance worth about $550,000. That worker also has a disability insurance policy if he or she should become seriously and permanently disabled. That has a value of $580,000. The old age portion, the joint and survivor portion, for a 65-year-old worker who retires at 65 and earned about $43,000 before retirement, that joint and survivor annuity is worth $445,000. So these are large assets, but they should be even larger. And in fact, it's important to understand that Social Security benefits are being cut under current law as a result of amendments in 1983 and 1993 that are being phased in now. Social Security benefits in the future will be about 25% lower than they are for workers born 1960 or later than they would have been. This will worsen wealth and income inequality. Social Security has been essential in providing a floor of protection and in ameliorating, although obviously not eliminating, these important these gaps in wealth. It is important that if these benefit cuts continue to go into effect, it's just going to widen that gulf. Expanding Social Security's modest benefits and paying for them in a progressive way can improve retirement security as well as economic security in the case of disability and death, and it can reverse some of the wealth and income inequality, not just between whites and communities of color, but between the 1% and the rest of us. One of the panels this morning was talking about inheritance and how that creates a lot of this wealth inequality. Well, starting back with Thomas Paine, one of our forefathers, who advocated for a steep estate tax. Estate taxes if you have a higher estate tax and dedicated that money to Social Security and expanded the benefits, that would both help retirement security, disability security in the case of disability and premature death, and it would also even the playing field. So again, these programs are particularly important, and this program, Social Security, is particularly important for the communities we've been talking about here, but it is right for all of America, and it really should be, it's a clear, easy, they could enact it tomorrow, it could take effect immediately, no transition costs. It should be something that's done.
Thank you.